Peace, everybody. Welcome back. Welcome back, CEO of Esoterics. Welcome back, Maya Owens. Welcome back, 9 Ether Goddess. Welcome back, 666 Carbon. Welcome back, Luna. Welcome back, Just That Guy. Mary Jane. Welcome back, Melanin Nicole. Welcome back, Peace. Welcome back, Speaking of Lovely. Welcome back, Kimmy. Welcome back. How's everybody doing today? Hope you're having a beautiful day, beautiful rising. Hope all is well. Hope you're staying positive and vibrating high. Hope you're still aware and conscious that everything that you put out, you will get right back. Never forget that, because then you slip back into the low vibration that gives you the product, the result that you don't want. So yeah, today I don't really have anything specific I want to talk about. I did want to say that we did decide that we're going to Hawaii. So aloha. I'm not gonna be saying peace anymore. I'm gonna be saying aloha. Aloha, God. So yeah, so that's where we decided we're going. You know, the universe just kept giving us the signals and confirmations that we should go to Hawaii. You know, we know some people that are already in Hawaii, and everything just seemed to align. So we're just not resisting the universe, and we're just gonna allow, you know. And I don't know, the way I look at it is like, I'm not set on anywhere. So anywhere we go, I feel like the earth is my home. So anywhere I go, I can make it, you know, fit to what I, you know, desire, you know, because at the end of the day, wherever you go, there you are. So you have to deal with yourself, and you have to create for yourself what you want out of life, you know? Nah, we're not afraid to go anywhere. We just, like I said, we're letting the universe guide us, but it's not a be-all, end-all. Like, just because we go somewhere doesn't mean we're gonna stay forever. So I'm open to all the possibilities. This might just be a pit stop. But at the end of the day, you know, like I said, it don't matter where you go, there you are. So you gotta be able to be anywhere and make it your home. It doesn't matter if you're at an Airbnb in some foreign country. You got to be able to make it your home. You got to be able to put that frequency and that vibration in that environment to make yourself feel good about the experience, you know. So that's the way I look at it, you know. I feel like the whole earth is my home, you know. Anywhere I go, I could fit in, you know. I could acclimate to it. I'd prefer to be in the tropics, somewhere where it's warm, somewhere where there's a lot of fruit, because that's more fitting to my lifestyle, you know. But at the end of the day, shit, Iceland looks beautiful. Iceland is a beautiful ass country. If it wasn't so cold, I would very consider going there, you know. If you're not vegan, if you are living a different lifestyle, you love nature, that would be a beautiful place to go. I've seen a lot of beautiful waterfalls and nature in Iceland, and it's one of the cleanest countries. They don't got mosquitoes. There's a lot of positive things about Iceland if you're willing to endure the cold. But for me, you know, I love the tropics. I love the heat. I love, you know, the rivers, and I love just the fruit. I love the fruit. I love food. I don't know. I have an affinity with food because I like how it connects me to the earth. I like interacting with consciousness, because the way I look at it, everything is consciousness. So when you eat food, it's like you're just interacting with consciousness, just like you would interact with a person, but on a different level. Like, human beings are vibrating at a higher consciousness. We're more aware than, or some of us are more aware than some plants and other organisms, you know. But at the end of the day, everything has a consciousness. That's why when you eat something, it affects you, because everything is made out of consciousness, awareness. You know, if you look at it down to a cellular level, even the cells are aware. They're taking in nutrients, they're blocking out toxins, you know. So it's awareness that propels reality. You know, the more aware you become, the more in control you are of your reality. You know, but that's how the way my mind works, because like for me, I'm very skeptical about a lot of things. I'm skeptical about, like, I was always skeptical about astrology, for instance. So what I had to do to kind of get myself familiar with astrology, or get myself to understand astrology, is I had to break it down to a scientific level. Even with like the law of attraction, like a lot of people say, you know, please don't be talking like that in the comments. You will be blocked. Just stay positive. There's nothing. If you have any questions that are personal, just inbox me. You might be able to get something out of me, but I'm not talking about that right now. I just wanted to say, look, like for instance, the law of attraction, right? People say you will attract into your reality what you put out. And at surface level, it sounds very, it doesn't sound like something too scientific, but like for me, I had to break it down. Like for instance, I'll say like, you vibrate, right? When you speak, it's a vibration. So you're talking, that's producing a vibration. This vibration is being picked up by this device. Then it's getting played through your device, through the speakers on your device or your headphones, and you're feeling that vibration. That vibration will communicate a signal that will let you know something like that I might be in alignment with something that you want out of life. So I will begin to attract people into my life who are like, oh, like I fuck with that too. Like I resonate with what you're saying because I'm having similar thoughts. You know, it kind of takes the magic away that some people like about it, but that's the way my mind processes thoughts. So that's the way my mind is trying to figure things out all the time. So, you know, I just don't take things for face value, or I just don't take things in like that. I gotta process them scientifically and down to the mechanism of how things work in order for me to be able to embrace certain principles, certain teachings. So I'm always questioning shit. You know, I'm always questioning everything. I have a lot of Virgo energy, which means I'm always analyzing everything. I'm always making sure that what I believe in, what I'm following, that it's right. You know, that everything is in accordance. So that's why, you know, it's hard for me to just follow anything, because I already peeped the little intricate details that aren't right. You know, even if somebody says it with a lot of confidence, at first I might be inclined to believe it, you know, because that's one thing I learned, that if you say things with enough confidence, that people will believe it. If you say things with enough, if you have enough belief in the things that you're saying, other people will believe it as well, just on the mere face value, just on the mere idea that nobody would say anything that with that much confidence unless it was true. But when you look further into it, you start peeping out the details, and then eventually you find out, wait a minute, that's not adding up. Wait a minute, you know, there's cracks in that boat. You know, there's flaws in that, in what you're saying, you know. But that's why you got to look at the details, you know. And as a Virgo, naturally, you're more inclined to look at the details. My Mercury is in Virgo, and then it's in the 5th house, which is Leo. So the Mercury in Virgo means that is a exalted placement, which means that is the best placement you could have for Mercury, because Mercury wants to have all the information, wants to have all the details. It's the way your mind processes thought. So it's analyzing all the dimensions of reality to bring in all the information to know and be conscious of and aware of that particular, whatever it is that you're analyzing, right? And then the 5th house Leo just amplifies that and puts fire and confidence to that information. So it's like people say Mercury in the 5th house is a know-it-all, but I feel like the Mercury in Virgo kind of says that you do know it all, because you're analyzing everything and looking for all the details. So in my mind, it's a very good placement to have, you know. So that's the way my mind works, you know. I don't just take things for face value. I'm always trying to break down as far as scientifically, like quantum physically, like how things work. Like I got to know the mechanism by how things work. I got to know how the atom works, how electrons spin around the nucleus, and there's protons and neutrons, and how this works and how this develops and manifests into our reality. I got to know that, you know. I got to know all the details before I'm just like, oh shit, let me jump into this and believe this with all my heart and say it with confidence. Before I say anything with confidence, that's why anything that I say, like I won't just say anything with confidence. I'll make sure I have all the details, but then when I do have the details, whatever I do say and I do share is because I've analyzed it enough to be like, this is fact, this is true, so I can share this with people. I won't just share anything that I just learned. Like, I gotta look deeper into it before I start sharing it with the world, you know. And even when I do that, I'm still like questioning, like, damn, like, is there any flaws in that? I'm still looking at it to see if there's any flaws in that. If people make a comment, I'll be like, I'll consider it. I'm always considering it because I have another aspect in my chart that's like, I never want to get caught not knowing something, so I'm always taking in information. I want to be like a human encyclopedia, so I never want to get caught not knowing something, basically. And so I'm always taking in information for that too. So, yeah, if anybody has any questions, wants to build, I just wanted to come connect with y'all and let y'all know that, you know, that we're moving forward and that we're still staying positive. Absolutely nothing could stop us or deter us from our path because we are determined, you know, and we know who we are. We know what we want out of life. And that's, at the end of the day, that's all the universe asks for you, is to know, you know, all you got to know is what you want. You don't got to know when, you don't got to know where, you don't got to know how. Just know what you want out of life. And that's all you need. All the where, the when, the how will come. And you don't know how it's gonna come, you know, it might come through unexpected ways, or it might come through expected ways. It don't matter, but at the end of the day, it will come. You don't know when, you just gotta stay and be patient. Hey, peace, Bella en Fuego. Yeah, you know what? I probably wouldn't do it live because I know how it's gonna go. Look, here's the thing. When you know somebody's astrological energy, to love is to understand them. And if you understand them, then you know how to work with them. You know how to deal with them. And I know that astrological energy, and it's not an astrological energy that's gonna be receptive or allowing to what I have to say, so I know that that's not something that I want to do, basically. Oh, you know what? If you guys want astrological readings, I would highly recommend that y'all, I know, my hair looks crazy. I just got up. But I'm a jungle man, like, I don't know, I belong in the jungle. I'm not really for these Babylon Like, I just like being in the jungle. I don't like, you know, I don't do too well in Babylon, like, as far as maintenance. My wife gotta fix my hair for me. Oh, what's her name? Her name is Amani.Bass or Bass. I'm gonna put her name. She is a great astrologer here on Instagram, and she is dope, and she has a lot of experience, and she knows a lot about astrology. So at the end of the day, if you want your chart read and stuff like that, I highly recommend you hit her up. So she's really good at astrology. She knows what she's talking about. She's read our chart, she's talked to us, and she's very good. My thoughts on urine therapy. Yeah, I went through that phase. I don't know, I couldn't do it for too long. I did it a couple days, but it was not something that I could do, but I did understand the science behind it, and you know how, and the thinking behind it, that basically they're saying that your urine holds the keys, the immunity, because it process, like, it's basically a blueprint for all the viruses and cells in your body when it gets outputted, that it holds the immunity. So when you drink that, it's like drinking immunity to certain viruses and things like that, because it holds like certain properties, right? And that's what they're saying. But I don't know. I couldn't do it. I just couldn't do it. No, anywhere is Babylon. There's Babylon everywhere. People have said this before, but look, every country has Babylon. Every country, even like the country that Belize does not have Burger Kings, does not have McDonald's. It don't have none of those corporations like that, but still has Babylon, because people are programmed in a certain way. Even if you're living in a hut in the mountains, you could still be Babylon, because that's how the consciousness has infiltrated the mind of people. It's not even about being in a big city with tall buildings anymore. It's about how you think and how you look at reality. That's Babylon. Babylon is not being able to see that you're interdependent with nature, because even the people that are in the jungle, like I've met people in the jungle or in the mountains living in a hut, literally, that are trying to go towards Babylon. So they're already in their mind Babylon, but they're just vibrating to it, because the people in these third world countries, they're now wanting to be like the US. They're wanting to be like the Babylon, you know, because that's the way they're programmed, and they come from nature, but they're being programmed to be cancer cells and to want to be part of that system, because they look up to the money. They think that the money but look, it's like, we already came from that world. We already know what's good with that world. We already know what's up, that it's an illusion, that once you attain those things, that it's not going to bring you happiness. It's not going to bring you fulfillment. And on top of that, that is causing destruction and havoc to the earth. So we're coming from that system, and they're going to it. Coming from nature, it's like backwards, like the roles are like, it's like you always want what you don't have. So people are like coming from Babylon, trying to go to nature, trying to get one with nature, and the people who were close to nature are trying to get closer to Babylon, and we're like, nah, head back. There's nothing that way. Just go back. But they're like, nah, like they see these cars and they see the culture, they see the big houses and all the things that money can buy, and they're lured by it, you know, and they want it because they haven't had it. So it's like karmically they're tied, they're running the cycle. We're running the cycle as humanity, you know. And those people, because they haven't had it, they think that they that's what they need. But at the end of the day, you know, we already know what's the see. It's like I feel like we have an advantage because we can analyze reality for all that it is. And if you do analyze it, you'll be like, okay, I could experience Babylon in that system, but I know that everything comes from nature, and I know that without nature being good, then we won't be good and humanity will cease to exist. So if I do go into that system, I'm only playing myself. I'm only fighting against myself. I'm not living in tune with myself. But most of those people aren't programmed that way. Like, and then the Catholic Church and all the religions really did a number on even indigenous people. Like all indigenous people, like most of them don't have their original beliefs, their original, you know, what they did original as not religion, but their cultures and the traditions. They don't have that. It's not intact anymore. When the Catholic Church came, it just decimated the entire South America, Central America, Latin America. The whole western side of the world has been infiltrated with different religions like Christianity, Catholicism, and now, you know, are all your knowledge nature boys knowledge? Knowledge is knowledge. Whatever. I don't think it belongs to anybody, so that's the answer to that question. That's not, I don't look at it like that. You know, this is your knowledge, this is my, nah, this is just the truth, and I'm sharing it with you. So religion infiltrated all of these Central America, South America, all these countries, and even the indigenous population. They got basically, they got like a gun put to their head and said, either you believe in this religion or you cease to exist. In South America, there was a lot of rubber trading, and there was basically slavery going on. There was many different forms of slavery going on at one point. The indigenous people were also being used as slaves for the production of rubber in South America and in different countries, you know. And there were indigenous people, basically, they didn't speak Spanish. You know, Spanish came as a byproduct of the Spaniards coming to conquer indigenous people in this land masses that we call Central and South America. But the religion came along with that because religion was used as a tool of manipulation to enslave the mind. Because if you make somebody believe in something that's, you know, greater than them, that they can't see, that's imaginary, that holds consequences when they don't do certain things that you want, then you hold control over these people, because you're not holding control over them using anything tangible, but with the mind, because the mind is so powerful. When you program somebody, look, we're computers, we're cells, but we're computers. You can program a human to be anything that you want it to be, especially if you take it from the age of 0 to 7 years old. That's the biggest time when you can program a computer human cell. You could put whatever programming you want, just like a computer. You could, whatever operating system you want them to be on, you could do that during this period of time. From 0 to 7 is the most important time. So like the Jesuit monks said, give me a child for the first 7 years of his life, and I will give you the person like that he's gonna be for the rest of his life. You know, because they knew and they understood that that programming that they received at that young age goes with you for life. Because it's like the foundation for the programming of that computer, which is what we are, you know. So they program the mind of people to think a certain way, to be scared of certain things, and before you know it, they're under mind control. I was watching a documentary about a person. There was this guy who held like 3 women captive, and he told them, basically, they were captive in his home for 30 years. It's a documentary called The Cult Next Door or something like that. But he held people captive for 30 years, 3 women, and he told them that he had a device that could end the world, that could cause harm to them, that could do a lot of bad things to them if they didn't listen to everything that he said and they didn't believe and abide by the things that he said. And this device was called Jackie. He called it Jackie, and everything that happened on the news, he would take responsibility for it. Like he would say, like, oh, that happened because you guys didn't listen to me yesterday, or because something that he took responsibility. Like if he did the things that happened in the news. So these women were brainwashed. They were programmed like a computer to believe and be scared of and fear this device, imaginary device that this person said they had. You know, so I know the importance and how big everything that we listen to is, because it programs who you are. So be very, very cautious of the music you listen to, the videos you watch, the people you're around, the words that are being spoken around you, because all of this is programming who you are. And if you repeat it long enough, if you tell somebody something long enough, repetition is key, because one time it might not have an effect, 2 times it might not have an effect, but over time, if you keep repeating, pressing somebody with this information, it's going to be in their subconscious mind, and they're going to be running this program. And that's what people in Babylon are doing, right? They're running a program that they've been given. They're not really thinking things out. They're not really being conscious. They're just walking around running a program that they've been given. So they're not like, they're picking up toothpaste. Oh, Colgate, I've seen that on TV. Oh, Crest, I've seen that on TV. Because their mind has been programmed through the television, through advertisement. They pick up those items that they're familiar with in their subconscious mind. They're not reading labels or anything like that. They're operating off of a program that they were given, you know. So but then you become conscious, and then you're like become aware, and you're like looking at the food that you're eating, and then you start looking at the toothpaste. You go to the toothpaste aisle, and then you look in the back, and now you're reading ingredients. Because you're more conscious, you're starting to reprogram and rewrite the program in your software, you know. So you're like, wait, fluoride, like, oh, I don't want that. This, I don't want that. You know, now you're conscious, now you're aware, now you're a woken human being. You're not just taking anything that's given to you. Now you're questioning everything. So you find organic toothpaste. You find toothpaste that doesn't have toxic chemicals, that's compatible with your biochemical organism. And so now this is what consciousness and awareness is that you're not taking anything. Now that you're being aware and selective of everything in your environment. So it starts with the food, because food is important, because you put that into your body every single day. And so if you're conscious of the food, it makes you conscious of a lot of other things, because you don't notice how much of a role food plays until you try to change your diet, right? Because then you notice everybody's trying to offer you food, and then you got like, nah, I don't eat that anymore. What? And it becomes this whole conversation like, well, you don't eat that anymore. Why? Why not? And then you got to explain to people why you don't eat that. And like when I used, even if you're around people who do eat the same food that you eat, say you're fasting or something, all of a sudden people want to offer you food, and you'll be like, oh, nah, it's good, I'm fasting right now. But then you notice like, well, people will be offering you so much food throughout the day, and you don't even realize how much of a role it plays. Just go out into the city. Look at how many restaurants exist. Look at how many buildings they've constructed to feed people. And then you'll realize the importance of what food is. Look at all the grocery stores. Look at all the farmers markets. Look at all the fruits and vegetables that are grown worldwide. And then you'll realize the importance of that food plays, because it's energy to sustain human life, which is consciousness, So you become aware of the food. The food will make you aware of other things, because at this point, you're opening up your mind to start questioning things in your reality. You're not just taking anything that's been given to you. So you question the food, then you start questioning the products, you start questioning the water, you start questioning everything in your reality, down to the point of your environment. You start asking, why do I live here? Why is it so cold? Why don't I live where my natural food grows naturally? So this is when you decide to look into maybe other tropical countries and all of this, So if you follow knowledge long enough, it'll lead you to a certain place, eating a certain food, living a certain lifestyle. This is what living the knowledge truly means. It means that it'll take you to a place, a destination, and that you will literally end up in the jungle, eating fruit, aware of reality and wanting to share that with the world if it's your, purpose. So that's consciousness, that's awareness, that's the human program that we need to program ourselves with, not the program that we've been given that says just don't question anything, but we need to rewrite our software so that we're running the program for the actual organic human being, which is a program of living in tune with nature, eating organic, being in tune with the elements, and most importantly, being in tune with yourself, knowing who you are as a person, because if you don't know who you are as a person, this is going to be detrimental to you anywhere. It don't matter if you're in Babylon, if you smack dab in the middle of Los Angeles, or if you in the deepest jungles of the Amazon. It don't matter. If you don't know who you are, you're going to have issues anywhere you go. So you got to realize who you are, what you like, what you want out of life, your weaknesses, your strengths, all of that, the whole gamut of the whole freaking spectrum of what you are. Know that, so that anywhere you go, you could be valuable, so that anywhere you go, you could be of assistance, so you won't get in your own way. Because if you don't know who you are, you're just getting in your own way, It's not until you develop the self-awareness to be able to grow and know yourself that you will come into your greatest self. The greatest version of you is the version of you that knows fully who it is. Not only that, but is expressing fully who and what they are. That is the greatest version of yourself. So when you look at somebody that's expressing who they are fully, it doesn't matter if you're in agreement with it or not, or you don't like who they are or not. Admire that, because that's what you should strive to be. Don't care what people say. Don't worry about what people say. Don't worry about nothing. Just know yourself and express it fully, because then you'll attract to your life what you're really supposed to have out of life. You want people in your life who are vibrating to the frequency of knowing themselves and expressing themselves fully. That way you can find compatible energies that are compatible with your true self. Because you might be around people who you think are compatible, but once you start being your true self, they might not fuck with you, because, you gotta align yourself with people who are being their true self, and to know that those two energies are compatible, that's when you will truly know if you're around the right people. But it's challenging when you're not around people who are expressing themselves. Facts, we do need to be closer to the sun. The sun is very important. if you look in the tropical regions of the world, between the Tropic of Cancer and the Tropic of Capricorn, this is where life is concentrated on this organism that we call Earth. Life has concentrated in these regions because it receives the most amount of energy from the sun. The sun is the sole producer of all life on this planet. And of course you want to be closer to that. The most biodiversity is a big word for the more amount of animals and plants. The most biodiversity is in the tropical regions because it receives the most amount of UVB and most amount of sunlight in general. Sun carries a whole spectrum of light. Light is energy. Energy gives life to this planet. All those plants, and then the plants produce oxygen through the process of photosynthesis. They literally transform sunlight into carbohydrates and give off oxygen so that you can breathe and so that your brain could be fully oxygenated. Oxygen is super important for the body. Your blood carries oxygen, so your body, all the cells in your body are being fed oxygen. If you're in an environment that doesn't have a lot of oxygen, then you're gonna be suffering. Your brain is not gonna be receiving ample amounts of oxygen that it needs to process all the processes that it does. You're not gonna be thinking clearly. You're not gonna be thinking right or to your fullest capacity, right? So you wanna be in a tropical region because you're gonna have more oxygen. You're gonna be access to more food, literally more food, more energy. So you can try to stay in the States, you could try to stay in Babylon or a place where it's not in the tropics, but if shit were to hit the fan, then now you're gonna find yourself in a tight situation because where you live at is harder to grow food. Where you live at is not as much of abundance. So, and on top of that, there's a bigger population where you live. So if there's a big population in an area that's hard to find food because all the food is getting imported, then when shit hits the fan and exports and imports cease to exist, there's gonna be a lot of chaos because people are gonna be fighting over food because it's scarce in that region. But in regions where food is more abundant, it's gonna be less of that. And plus you can find a place to grow your own food and provide for yourself. So when that inevitable time comes, because civilizations will collapse, because civilization has collapsed already. Look at Rome. Look at Babylon, all the cities, Egypt, all these big civilizations, they collapsed because they did the same thing that we're doing now, which is they eroded the soil. If the soil is not healthy, look, if the soil doesn't have the microorganisms that it needs to produce healthy food, then when you eat the food that you're eating, you won't be healthy. So it all starts with the soil. The soil gives life to the plants and the fruits and the vegetables that we eat. And when we eat those fruits and vegetables, they give life to us. If there's no minerals, there's no bacteria in the soil, then we're not producing food that's good for us. We're not producing food that's really given what our body needs to sustain its own life. So it's not good enough that you just eat any fruits and vegetables, but that the fruits and vegetables the soil that those fruits and vegetables are grown in must also be healthy. But what we're doing with the excessive farming and techniques that aren't good for the soil is that we're taking away the minerals from the soil. We're taking away the bacteria from the soil. So now the food that we eat isn't even mineral rich. It doesn't even have the consciousness that we need to raise our vibration, that we need to sustain this being that we're operating this avatar, because the soil is no good anymore. So we have to find new ways of regenerating the soil, regenerating the bacteria in the soil, of producing food that's healthier. Because you could eat a vegetable that's grown in Babylon in the worst soil, in a greenhouse or somewhere, but then you could eat another vegetable that's grown in the tropical enzyme, mineral-rich soil with a lot of bacteria that's good for you, and it'll be they might look exactly the same, but they'll hold two different nutritional values. You might need 5 of those cabbages or whatever it is, or zucchinis, whatever it is that you're eating, to make one that's grown in the good soil. So now you think you're hungry, but you're really just mineral deficient. You think you're so hungry, but because the food that you're eating doesn't have the minerals that it's supposed to have, now you're overeating because your body's not feeling satiated. It's not feeling full from the food that you're eating. So you got to be conscious of that as well. You know, we're trying to regenerate and heal the planet, so we have to bring awareness of all these things that you could tell people to eat a vegan diet, but if they're eating fruits and vegetables that are grown in horrible soil, it don't do them no good, because they're not really feeding their body. They're just eating, but they're not feeding their body the minerals, the enzymes, the probiotics, the bacteria that they need to be truly healthy. Because your body's mostly bacteria. Bacteria is literally light. Enzymes are electrically charged proteins. So you need enzymes as well. And that's literally light. Bacteria is light. You know, bacteria communicates through light, you know. So you need all of this whole gamut, this whole system. It works symbiotically. The enzymes, the minerals, and the probiotics and bacteria, they all work symbiotically to give you life. And all of this has to be in the soil. It's got to be in the soil for us to get it from the plants. So what I was saying is that all civilizations, they did the same thing. They fucked up the soil so that they couldn't grow vegetables and fruits in order to feed their body. And eventually the soil corroded and they weren't able to grow anything. So civilization collapsed and people had to go somewhere else, and it couldn't sustain those big civilizations anymore. The big cities, the big tumors on the planet, it couldn't sustain them anymore. So that's what happened with Egypt. That's what happened with Rome. That's what happened with all these cities. So we know that they're doing the same thing again. So when you do the same thing, you're going to get the same results. So we already know what's going to happen. If we know what happened in the past and they were doing the same thing that they're doing now, so we can know what the outcome is going to be. It's not rocket science. So what we're doing, we're putting ourselves in a position where we can grow our own food, where we could. And see, this is what I love about Hawaii. And this is why perspective is so important, because Hawaii is a new land, meaning that is fairly new in comparison to other continents and other places in the world. So, but the soil is so rich because it's volcanic rich soil. So it's like an opportunity for us to grow food that is mineral rich. It's an opportunity for us to be in an environment where we can start fresh, where it hasn't been tainted and poisoned with not only the consciousness of the people, but quite literally the chemicals and all these other things that we've produced as a byproduct of our consciousness. So it's like something new that we can cultivate and bring into fruition. We don't got to worry about a lot of the things that have happened to these other land masses, because even in Mexico, even in tropical regions where food is grown and comes from, they've already seeped chemicals into the soil. They already seeped all these glyphosates, all these genetically modified organisms have already polluted the soils, you know. So you gotta be very, very conscious of all these mechanisms by which we're being attacked. You know, we're attacking ourselves really, because everybody is his humanity that we're speaking on. There's a part of humanity that's not aware. There's a part of humanity that's low in consciousness because it's been programmed that way, and it hasn't realized that it's been programmed that way, or hasn't realized there exists an alternate way of life on this planet, or another way of thinking than being programmed. And then there's another part of humanity that's waking up, that's conscious, that's saying, nah, we don't want this way of life. We don't want this food. We don't want this genetically modified organisms. We don't want microwaves. We don't want 5G towers because they disrupt cellular communication in my body. I want to live in tune with nature. Nature is the source of everything that you build anyways. So why not live in tune with the original nature instead of building another system on top of the original system? This is the new way of thinking. This is the new paradigm that we're coming into, the new level of consciousness that everybody must tap into. Because if we don't, humanity will cease to exist. And we're just trying to be we are being the example for humanity. We are showing you how to live in tune with nature. We're talking about it. We're living it. Right now we're transitioning, but at the end of the day, we're getting to where we need to be so that we can live in tune and harmony with nature. Kurt, If you want to donate, just the links in the PayPal links in the bio, and you could donate through Cash App as well. So, so the islands have volcanic rich soil, meaning that it's very good for growing plants because it has a lot of minerals. It's teeming with life. It's teeming with bacteria. It hasn't been contaminated like a lot of the soil in Babylon or even in these tropical countries has. Just because it's in the tropics doesn't mean that it's the best place. Even the tropical places have been affected by now. If you didn't know, even them have been using glyphosate. Mexico is supposedly not supposed to grow GMO corn. It's outlawed supposedly, but they did a study that they found that 90% of the tortillas are being made with GMO corn. So, out of one mouth they say that it's illegal to grow GMO corn, but then out of another source you get that they're growing GMO corn. So it can get tricky. That's why it's best to grow your own food and eat exclusively your own food, or food that you know where it came from, that you know if it's genetically modified or not. It's best to have firsthand experience with the food that you eat, because you will know for sure what's in the food. You'll know for sure what's in there, and you won't have to question what it is that you're eating. You'll feel good about it. So that on another part, on a subconscious part, will feel good and put a better vibration into the food that you're eating. It goes deeper than just being in the tropics. Absolutely it does. That's phase one. Get to the tropical areas. Phase two is grow your own food. Grow your own food and be truly self-sustainable so that you can really because every cell in your body, your whole body is made out of the food that you eat and the water that you drink. If you're eating GMO food or food that has been sprayed with pesticides, then the cells in your body are being built and generated with that food. Do you think that your cells would make better cells and replicate themselves better if they had GMO or organic food? Obviously, organic food with minerals and enzymes and bacteria is going to create a better body, is going to create better cells, is going to create better hair cells, better nerve cells, better heart cells, is going to create and replicate, because your body regenerates all the time. And this is what a lot of people don't realize, that your body is self-healing and self-regulating. So when you cut yourself, you don't got to think about your cut healing. You don't got to focus your intention and energy on that healing. It's going to heal. If you allow it to, it will heal on its own, because your body is self-regulating. Just like right now, I'm not telling my heart to beat. My heart is beating because that's a natural process. It's an automated process that the body is going through. So your body is self-healing, self-regulating. You just got to get out of your own way. You just got to give it the best nutrients. You just got to give it the best food and the best thoughts so that your body can operate in the best way that it possibly can. You just got to get out of your own way. We've gotten in our own way. We've created ways of thinking that have perpetuated us not being in harmony with our own body, with our own self. So when you get out of your own way, which means you become conscious of who and what you are, you start giving yourself the best food. You start giving yourself the best environment, the best people. This is not really giving yourself anything more than it is getting out of harm's way, getting out of the toxic lifestyle that we've been indoctrinated into, because we all belong in a certain environment. We all belong in a certain place, thinking certain thoughts and being connected to the earth. But because we've been programmed a certain way, we've gotten away from that. So it is important for us to get out of our own way and let ourselves heal. Let ourselves become one with nature, become in tune with it, and everything else will follow. You just gotta stop blocking yourself. Stop insulating yourself from yourself. And that is said on many levels. Take the rubber off your feet. Take the shirt off of your back. Let the sun hit you. Let the sun hit your skin. Feel the soil on the ground. Communicate with the trees and the organisms. And I don't mean talk to them quite literally, but have a communication where it is that you're touching, you're interacting with it. Because the more you interact with nature, the more you will feel connected to it. If you never go outside, if you never look at the sky, look at the animals and the plants, if you never observe nature, then you will never feel connected to it, because it needs to be in your subconscious mind, basically. You need to have enough interactions to it to where it will be second nature to just be around trees and animals. When I woke up, I started looking at the trees. I stopped looking at the cars that I used to look at and think that were dope, and because they were expensive and they look cool, and I started looking at the animals. I started looking at the trees. I started looking at the trees that were in nature. It looked dope to me. Like, I would be like, damn, that's a dope tree. Like, I don't know why I didn't look at it before, but as I started awakening, I started being more attracted to nature. Something that just happened naturally by me awakening, because it's like I hadn't been exposed to that world, but there was a part of me that knew innately that that's where I needed to be close to, because it's like my whole reality had been a lie, and I was trying to decipher and find out what was real and what was not. And what is real is a system that has existed before Babylon, before the cities. And what was underneath that, underneath the layers of deception, I found that the true reality was nature. The true reality was to be connected to the plants and the animals, and to live in tune with it, and to know the plants, know what plants do what, know what plants grow where and at what time and what season, depending on where the sun is at in the sky. We could know when a flower is gonna blossom, when a plant is gonna go to flower, when a plant is gonna give fruit. This is what I want to know. I want to know that, because when the system falls, you're gonna need to know when fruit is coming into season. You're gonna need to know how much food you need to sustain yourself until that tree gives fruit, because not everything in nature doesn't grow year round. Everything has a certain season, a certain time, depending on its genetic coding. So depending on where the sun is in the sky relative to the tilt of the earth will give you different times throughout the season that the certain plants and the trees will blossom. So this information is what's important to me, because I know food sustains my life. Food is information, and food is a big part of what we need to sustain ourselves. So in getting in tune with nature, you got to figure out all these things. In my mind, this is what's important to me, along with all the other things. I take a holistic approach, meaning I don't just leave things out. I want to know the food. I want to know the mind. I want to know the relationships. I want to know the environment. I want to know the technologies, all of it. And I give all of it equal importance and relative, because if I see that it has an effect on myself, then absolutely I want to learn it. I want to integrate that into my knowledge, because that's what's important to me at the end of the day, is knowledge itself, knowing things, being aware. This is the true awoken being, wants to know everything. It doesn't want to just know certain things. It wants to integrate everything into its life, because it realizes that everything could be of help and assistance to ourselves, and to ultimately, when you heal yourself, you're healing the planet, because you are the planet, you are the organism. And if I heal myself and I give you the information to heal yourself, and you give the information to heal somebody else, then we'll all be good, we'll all be straight. But it all starts with self. You got to heal yourself and know what you want out of life. Like I said earlier, know what you want. Doesn't matter how, when, where, through what mechanisms, but knowing what you want is very important, So I want to heal the planet, so I'm going to align myself with nature. I'm going to grow my own food. I'm going to live in tune and harmony with nature. I'm going to be happy, be around happy people, positive vibrations, and that's going to propel me into a reality that I really want to experience, and I know I deserve to experience, because you deserve to experience and be happy just like any other organism on this planet. You deserve to have food, you deserve to have water, you deserve shelter, you deserve to live a life in tune with nature. Now that has been taken away from some of us, because corporations and the consciousness of the lower self has come and infiltrated this reality, but we're taking it back. We're taking it back with knowledge of self. We're taking it back with a positive vibration. We're taking it back with spreading and sharing information and living knowledge, because all the governments in the world are just the people. The people are the government. If enough people say, fuck this, I don't want to live like this, then the government has no choice but to appease. The people that fight in the armies that those corporations create are people like me and you. They can be programmed and reprogrammed to think naturally, to think organic. If we can get the hearts and the minds of these people, then they won't have an army to fight. They won't have nobody that will fight for them, because they're not going to go and do it themselves. They need us. The people are the power. You are the power. I am the power. We all are the power, because without us, nothing can occur. Without us, nothing can be damaged. And at the same time, we need us to heal. We need people to heal. We need people to be able to restore the health back to this organism. So never forget the power that you hold. You hold all the power. As a person, as a humanity, you are the power, and what is affecting change in this reality. Never take that away from yourself. Never give that to governments or anybody else, because once you do that, you take the power from yourself to be able to hold yourself responsible and accountable to be able to make change in this reality. So you're the power. Never forget that. Make change in your life, and then teach people how to make change in their life. And then that's just like a domino effect that will take over the world, you know? Peace, Shaka Zulu. How you doing, Reflection? Okay, I'll ask her. So we are the power. Never forget that. You can grow your own food. You can live in tune with nature. You could do all of it, you know. Never limit your mind, because whatever limits you place on your mind is the limitations that you put on yourself. Some people don't even wait for other people to put limitations on them. They'll put limitations on themselves. And then those same people that put limitations on themselves will try to put limitations on you. But the only limits that you have are those that you place upon yourself. So don't put no limits on yourself. Know that you can accomplish and reach whatever you want. As long as it's in tune with nature, I'm fully supportive of it. As long as it's in tune with divine knowledge itself, then I'm down with it. Yeah, there's no other option but to grow and become more. The universe is constantly pushing us to become more. And you could try to resist it all you want, and you could prolong your growth, prolong your change, but it's always going to be throwing things at you to try to change and make you grow. So you could either roll with the punches, or you could try to resist it. But like I said, at the end of the day, it's something that we got to do. This is what we came here for. This is the mission that we came here for, is to become more, become greater, and to keep leveling up, you know. So might as well just keep going, you know. Keep looking forward. We ain't looking back. We moving forward, and we building every single day, you know. And if anybody fucks with the vibration that we on, then you're welcome here. This is your platform. Like I said, this is a place where we could build, you know. If you have negativity to bring here, do yourself a favor and just remove yourself. Just go where you want to be, because if you're commenting somewhere where you don't agree with, then that's counterproductive to getting what you want out of life. Everything is frequency, vibration, and energy. What you give focus to will manifest more of that. So if you don't want this, don't give focus to it. If you want something else in your life, give focus to that. So, you know, that's what I wanted to share with y'all today. Some positivity, and let you know where we're going, what our next move is, and just give you some information, because, you know, we all have valuable information, and I feel like the only thing we gotta pay for the information that we get is to apply it to your life and to share it with the world. That's the responsibility that you have as somebody who has information, is to apply it to your life and share it with the world, you know. So I'm doing my due diligence. I'm doing what I got to do. I'm living the information, and I'm sharing it with y'all. So with that being said, you know, I'm about to start my day. Probably go to the market, get some fruits and vegetables, make some food, and just enjoy life as we going through this transitional period. As we're going through, we're just remaining patient and, you know, going along with what life is bringing at us, and alchemizing the bad into good, and staying on a positive vibration. So I'll see you guys next time. If you have any questions you want to build, hit me up on the inbox, and we could build. And this will be up on YouTube on Master Teacher Neuro. That's the name on it right now. I know. I should change it, whatever. But, you know, that'll come when it's time. But it's going to be up on YouTube if you want to go rewatch it, if you didn't catch the full live, or if you want to catch it later. So much peace and love to everybody that's in the room right now, and everybody that watched the live, and everybody that's watching this transmission, this signal. And I hope that you have a beautiful day, and that you accomplish all your goals for today, and that you keep moving forward on a positive vibration. Okay? All right. Peace.